The ute market in 2026 is brutal. Chinese brands are pushing hard on value. Legacy brands are getting squeezed, and that pressure is creating better and more interesting dual cabs. We're out in the Adelaide Hills today testing the new Mitsubishi Triton Raider. This is the brand's Aussie-developed tough truck. But the question is simple. Has Mitsubishi built a genuinely better ute or just a more expensive one? So now I'm going to test this Triton Raider properly, on-road, off-road, high-speed gravel, to see where it really fits in the current market. And stick around till the end of the video where I'm sorting the dual cab market into a definitive tier list. And you might be shocked at where this Triton lands. Wheel travel and articulation is really impressive. There's the innards, the suspension. It's not attacking the ABS machine gun style like some older Toyotas. This bad boy can still tow 3.5 tons. It is absolutely nailing these approaches. These are ROH wheels developed specifically for this vehicle. Oh, struggling on this section. Maybe I should have locked that rear diff. I want to talk a little bit about just how intense this market has become, because it's the reason why vehicles like this exist. And now the market is completely fragmented. We've got massive price cuts on the Tasman and the Ranger PHEV. We've got GWM upgrades for the Ranger and the HiLux. We've got PHEVs, we've got EVs, we've got Challenger brands. It is going insane. And right here, we've got locally developed tough trucks like this Triton, which have been researched, developed and calibrated in Australia for Aussie conditions. And behind it, there is one catalyst, the Chinese challengers. They are coming, and they are coming hard. You've got the Chery KP31 PHEV diesel, the world's first diesel plug-in hybrid electric ute. Then you've got GWM getting Tribbiani, the former Holden engineer, to tune all their vehicles. These guys are actually putting a lot of time and effort into making their utes very, very special for the Aussie market. And there's more coming. You've got Geely working on a ute. You've got Jetour coming. And these guys are not messing around, and they're pushing hard on value, which is going to make it a lot more difficult for the legacy brands. 60% of dual cab buyers are now spending more than $65,000 on their ride. Mitsubishi read the room. They decided to let Chinese brands fight at the budget end and punch upward instead. And this pressure is forcing every ute brand to lift their game, and hence we get the Triton Raider. But for all this, there's a hidden family feud. This new Triton actually shares its DNA with the Nissan Navara platform. But don't for a second think that they'll be sharing tough truck innovations and upgrades. So, the Triton Raider, 75 grand before on-road costs. It's almost 10 grand more than the model it's based on, the GSR. Is it worth the money? Let's drive it and find out. Now, 75 grand is steep, but it's a massive leap forward from 2023's Mitsubishi Triton Extreme, which saw Walkinshaw charge a $15,000 premium for a 500 unit run that didn't even include a lift kit. We'll start with the off-road section, and what strikes me first is the engine. Nothing's been done to it. It's completely stock. It's nothing special, but it does have really good low-speed modulation, throttle modulation. I'm in 4 high, nothing fancy at the moment, and yeah, really easy to control on this rough terrain. The changes to the suspension, the Monroe shockers, are designed to make this vehicle excel at one thing, and it's not this. It's not slow speed rock hopping, which Mitsubishi has kind of said, well, owners will probably only do this once or twice a year. So that's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for high speed gravel enjoyment. You want to be able to thrash around a little bit like a Raptor Ranger, which we'll test next. But anyway, we're on the rough stuff here, and I got to say, it is doing this very easily. Those wider tyres as well, these all-terrain tyres are doing a great job. Not only with the steering's got a little bit more weight to it, which I like, but yeah, it just seems to drop into these divots and grip up. All right, here we go. We've got a section here where I have seen a few other vehicles struggle for grip. I'm not gonna engage the rear diff locker yet, the cheat code. Oh, no, I think I'm gonna have to. Come on. Let's go. Oh, oh, I didn't need to. Pop through it, impressive. The traction control sort of seems to really retard torque or ignition. And then when it gives it back to you, it's done a little thinking and it's, yeah, maybe changed its parameters somewhat. It's not bad. I haven't changed into 4 low or anything yet, so haven't locked the diff. All right, now we're heading down a pretty steep decline. I'll chuck it in hill descent control. We got that on? Yeah, we're good. All right, hill descent control, foot's off throttle. And it's pretty good. It's not attacking the ABS machine gun style like some older Toyotas. Well, maybe a little bit actually. Well, the original Triton actually had a pretty good approach angle. This one is 25 millimeters higher at the front, and it is absolutely nailing these approaches. Like as I come down the hill and then it levels out, it just, yeah, no drama at all. And I like the fact that we've got that steel bash plate on the front as well. It adds a bit of confidence. Yes, this is not my car, but if it were, I definitely would feel a lot less nervous about just kissing the mud, kissing the gravel with this. It definitely feels more capable than a standard Mitsubishi Triton. There's no doubt about that. The jacked up ride height and the tires especially, and the fact that they've all been calibrated and tuned together. They haven't, these tires have been designed to work with this suspension. And they've been through many, many iterations to make it all work. All right, we're going to test wheel articulation here, and it's been interesting because I've been able to follow a couple of other journos across these whoops, and it's kind of fascinating to see just how much articulation there is with this slightly softer suspension. It's impressive. So yeah, even though the body of the car is sitting really flat, I know that those wheels are jamming right up into the bodywork. Wheel travel and articulation is really impressive with this. They've done a good job. Oh, struggling on this section. Maybe I should have locked that rear diff. Haven't locked it yet. It really is surprisingly easy to come through these quite challenging sections. And again, it kind of comes back to the steering. There's a little bit of extra weight there. You feel a bit more connected to the front end. I think the suspension differences are meaningful. This is a pretty good setup thus far. I like it.
So let's break down what you're actually paying for. The wheels, suspension, dampers, bash plate, sports bar, side steps, roughly $5,000 in hardware. The other $4,000, well, that's 40,000 kilometres of testing through Arca and the Outback, 2 years of Premcar engineering. When you frame it that way, it's actually not a bad deal.
Okay, so we'll start with the front end. You've got a new bumper here. These elements here are called bronze, but mate, that's pewter. That is not bronze. Same in the wheels. We'll get to them in a sec. You've also got this bash plate under here, the Raider bash plate, a little bit of extra underbody protection there. That's nice. Plus, we'll come around the side here and have a look at these new ROH wheels. These are nice. Again, they don't look bronze to me. I like what they've done. Plus, you've got the Bridgestone Jeweler AT002 tyres. Mitsubishi says they went through 4 different tyres before they landed on this one. Just happens to be a Japanese tyre. What a surprise. But yeah, so far so good. And then there's the innards suspension. You've got 25 mils at the front, an extra 15 mils of ride height at the rear. And yeah, when you're sitting in it, driving it, it does feel higher off the ground. It feels like a big, tough truck. Then we've got some rock sliders here, side steps as well, which are nice. You've got the red Mitsubishi on there as well. They've done a good job making this look tougher, but also, actually be a bit pragmatic at the same time. And then again, red Mitsubishi in the rear sports bar. So they're adding a bit of value there and looks good, and yeah, adds a bit of practicality too. Oh, and I forgot to add, you also get these sandstone decals. Darude, anyone? Oh wait, that was Sandstorm. Are these sandstone? This bad boy can still tow 3.5 tonnes. That's a good thing. And you can get 4 colours, white, black, grey and silver. Pretty conservative palette, but works with the black highlights around. So yeah. What you're really paying for in this vehicle is the new suspension componentry. You've got new springs at the front, new shocks at the rear, and these Monroe shocks are Premcar's done a lot of work with this, and they've actually disassembled the shocks, made tweaks to it, and then put them back together. They've really fine-tuned it for exactly what they wanted to do. So basically the shocks fitted to this vehicle have a larger oil capacity, a larger piston, and a Raider-specific rebound spring. As I mentioned before, the springs are a little taller at the front, so 25 mils at the front, 15 mils at the rear. Seems to work quite effectively for this vehicle off-road. What will it be like on-road? We'll find out soon. You've got the taller front coil springs as well, and also redesigned bump stops. So basically the suspension in this vehicle is designed to allow it to take bigger hits, but also what they're telling us is it will also ride a bit flatter when you're going around corners as well. So yeah, it almost sounds too good to be true. Alrighty, so we are now on the gravel roads. I've chucked it in rear-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, and yeah, again, the steering, so much better now. There's a bit of weight to it. You feel a bit more connected to the vehicle. It is actually a little bit more engaging to drive. I like what they've done here. Yeah, it's weird though. Like, yeah, you can kick the tail out if you want, but it's still super predictable. The calibrations that Premcar has done, you know, they've done over 40,000 kilometers of testing with this, about 7,000 kilometers. It's in pretty tough conditions. That testing and that evaluation is definitely felt at higher speeds on gravel. This feels really good. I mean, this is tested in isolation. It's not a comparison, but first impressions are pretty good. Alrighty, let's give it some stick. Okay, well, that's one of the less impressive things about this vehicle is that engine. It's average. It's adequate, but it's not great. Bang, bang. Oh, that's impressive. So I've gone through a pretty hard, rutted bridge area, and the suspension coped with it surprisingly well, suggesting that high-speed hits are not going to rattle this car too much. And a big part of that are the new jounce bumpers. They're kind of like bump stops, and basically they're much taller, so they engage quicker. So you're not going to hit the close of the suspension, and you're not going to bottom out in a really hard, abrupt way. This thing it's smoother in the way that it reaches that compressed suspension, and yeah, it's definitely feels pretty good. It's not up there with the Ranger Raptor, but it's definitely better than most of its contemporaries, that's for sure. I'd like to think I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but this definitely does feel like a pretty good high-speed desert demon, dust demon, crusty demon of dirt, whatever it is. It's pretty good at higher speeds on loose surfaces. Again, these tyres are providing very good grip. The front end is very stable. I've only had the back end get a little bit loose. Okay, there we go, right on cue. But again, ESP is kicking in nicely. Have a little fun without getting too sketchy. Quite like that. It's one of those things, I reckon if you're planning on doing long distances on unsealed roads, then you should definitely take one of these for a test drive. It feels very, very capable in that respect. And it's more capable than the base GSR, I think, in slow speed, rock hopping and crawling and mudslinging. But yeah, definitely feels like its reason for being is here on the dirt. Another thing I've noticed that will be borne out more clearly when we get this final drive on the bitumen is it feels a lot flatter through corners. There's not a lot of body roll, which is impressive. And another thing, it's kind of quiet. It's not super loud. I'm not getting a whole bunch of roar from the tyres again.
But here's what surprised me. The thing that should have suffered most, the on-road drive, actually didn't. Usually when a manufacturer tunes a chassis specifically to take a beating on brutal Australian off-road tracks, it turns into an unrefined, sloppy mess on the tarmac. But right here, Mitsubishi managed a rare double play.
Okay, now we are on sealed roads, on bitumen, and again, straight away, the steering just feels better. And again, it's probably those slightly wider front tyres that's made the steering a little bit heavier, I personally really like that. I think that's a good thing. And also, again, the way it handles corners, like there is not a lot of body roll here, which is super impressive given how much wheel articulation this thing has off-road. So I guess it comes down to when you get someone like Premcar to tune this thing properly, they started this project in 2024, so you spend 2 years working on this and you calibrated the way that I guess Aussies want and need, well, certainly the way that suits the kind of driving we do, and the results are impressive. This drives a lot better than the standard Triton, there's no doubt about it. It absorbs the bumps better as well, as it almost feels like a car. It feels less like a ute and more like a car. The back should be skipping around and jumping around a little bit on this not quite perfect bitumen road, yet it's not. It's really tied down. It's easy going. It feels like a very, very good all-round package. Yeah, it's getting a bit exy, 75k, probably 80k on the road. It's $9,000 over the GSR, but I reckon it might be worth the money. I think it might be. I mean, we'll need to do some comparison tests moving forward to really see what it's like against stuff like the new upcoming Warrior and the Isuzu Blade and all those sorts of things. The Tasman X Pro as well, Pro X. It's going to be fun doing these comparisons, so stay tuned for that one. Another thing that impresses about this setup is the quietness. I expected these all-terrain tyres, which proved very good off-road and on the dirt, to be a bit loud on faster country roads and the freeway, but the fact is they're not. It's a good setup. It's a good compromise for sure.
There is a caveat here. The 2026 Triton GSR donor car now comes standard with revised factory springs and a tricky Yamaha performance damper across the chassis. Now, we haven't tested the updated base model yet, so how much of this incredible cornering composure is down to Mitsubishi's endemic fixes versus Premcar's local tuning is still a bit of a mystery. Look, the engine is pretty good for slow speed crawling. It's got a big wave of torque, but on road, it feels lazy. It's slow to react and makes you wonder, where on earth is the PHEV variant? We need that electric torque boost. And even better, a plug-in hybrid diesel. Look, it's already happening. Chery's doing it. But I'll forgive a lot of things because of this, a simple quick menu shortcut that kills the driver attention alerts. No electronic nagging, no mindless bleeping. It saves your sanity on long trips, and it's a feature every new car desperately needs.
Premcar has earned their keep. What's interesting is that this vehicle and the Navara, which share their platforms, have completely different Premcar teams working on their vehicles. They're not sharing anything. Mitsubishi revealed they might actually like to share one day, but apparently Nissan, maybe not so keen. And the best thing is you get to keep your warranty, a 10-year warranty in this case, class leading, something you don't get when you throw a bunch of aftermarket parts at a vehicle. So at 75 grand before you add on-road costs, yes, that is a lot of money for a Triton, which is at the slightly more affordable end of the market, but it does feel like pretty good value.
So let's put this into context with a bit of an internet tier list, all right? S tier down to F tier. And if you've seen our new car buyer's guide around the tradie vehicles, which you really should, obviously, you'd know that the Ford Ranger sits right at the top in S tier as the absolute benchmark example. Now, as that list points out, all the other premium heavy hitters on the market, cars like the Toyota HiLux, the incoming Kia Tasman, Isuzu D-Max, and the GWM Cannon, they're all sitting comfortably in A tier. But if we look right at the bottom of the list, F tier, we've got the JAC T9. That thing is not pretty. They literally just issued a national safety recall because the factory forgot to torque the bolts on the curtain airbags. Right above that, at E tier, we've got the Mahindra pickup. It's tough, but it's got an interior straight out of 1985, a massive 13.5 metre turning circle that makes a U-turn feel like a 3-day trek, and the steering that is totally confused. Then at D tier, we've got alternatives like the LDV T60 and Terron 9. Then you've got the Navara in C tier. Not because it's bad, and it does share its bones with the Triton, but it costs more and in some ways feels like it does less with what it has. But when we were doing the research for our new car buyer's guide, the baseline Triton actually just missed out on the top ranks. It sat comfortably as a B-tier vehicle because while it's reliable and has a class-leading 10-year warranty, it completely lacked a premium tough truck edge to justify a 65 grand plus price tag. Alongside it, you've got things like the Shark 6. Plenty of strengths, but plenty of compromises. But now, with these local chassis calibrations, the upgraded Premcar hardware, and massive improvements to its off-road composure, I would say this Raider version actually jumps the ranks to join the others up at A tier. It doesn't reset the benchmark or dethrone the Ranger from S tier, but it moves Mitsubishi closer to the top group than they have ever been before.
The question is whether the market agrees, and Mitsubishi knows it. There are a lot of eyes in Japan watching how this lands. If the Raider connects, and I think it will based on this first impression, we're going to see more vehicles like this, more involvement from Premcar, and possibly an expansion of the Raider name onto other models. Maybe an SUV, who's to say? And maybe, just maybe, we'll see that hallowed Rally Art badge put on something worthy. That would be cool. For now, though, the Ute Wars just got a whole lot more interesting, and Mitsubishi now has a horse in the tough truck race. Of course, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming from China as well. They are going to really lay into this segment. But let me know what you think. Is the game going to be completely changed over the next 5 years as we reach the end of the decade? Drop a comment below, and I'll see you next time.